This is the Player Position Podcast, where we huddle up, call the plays, and inspire you to run your ball into the end zone. Are you ready to score more game-winning touchdowns in your life, business, and career? Then listen up, because it's game time, baby. Now, here's your host, Mary Lou Kaiser.
Okay, so we are midway through the month of January, and this is the month traditionally that millions of people around the world who celebrate New Year's on January 1st set goals for themselves, set resolutions for themselves, and make big plans for themselves. The interesting thing about January is, while it is a time for looking ahead to the next year and all the things that we didn't get done the year before that we want to get done in the coming year, it's also in the Northern Hemisphere a dark month, a cold month. If you're above any more, you can't even predict the weather. We have been having the craziest weather here in the States. Everything from a temperature change within a week of 100 degrees. I'm not kidding you. A friend of mine lives in Iowa, and she said that one week it was minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and the next week it was 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a 100-degree difference. It's crazy. So January, again, we're in the middle of winter, and it's dark, and it's often cold, and it's often dreary, and people are coming down from the holidays, all the amped up excitement for sharing presents and seeing friends and family. And let's not even talk about eating all the cookies and treats and the libations that people consume. So January is a mixed month for a lot of people. And this year, for whatever reason, I have been having the blahs for the last week or so. And I do attribute it to getting sick over the holidays with a really, really bad cold. It wasn't COVID, wasn't RSV, it wasn't the flu. It was just a common cold, and it was brutal. I also attribute it to the lack of sun and warmth, a lot of gray days. So when I'm feeling stuck, and I do feel stuck from time to time, I've learned to move myself out of inertia via a couple of tricks I picked up along my journey. I wanted to share those tricks with you because you may find yourself in that weird space of you're excited for the new year, but at the same time, because it's January and it's post-holiday, you're having a tough time finding the momentum. And the first trick is the title of this episode. There is always room for the best. There's always room for the best. Reminding myself of this, reminding myself that there's always room for the best is often enough to get me into gear. Even if I do small things toward a big goal or a dream, all movement is good movement on the way to the best. I figure if what I'm doing now isn't the best I can do or be, and when I'm stuck, it certainly is not that, then something I do differently will get me closer to the best I imagine I can do or be. I don't know why it works. I simply know that it does. Now, books are amazing motivators, and that's the other trick that I like to use. It's one I learned years ago when I was teaching writing. It's an exercise that anybody can do at any time, and it doesn't have to be associated with a writing project. But it is good for people who want to move past writer's block. So if writing a book or writing more is part of your plan for this year, what I'm about to share with you could come in handy at times, especially when you're facing a blank page and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to write about? It really is a fantastic method of moving past that feeling of being stuck. And it goes like this. You pull a book off of your bookshelf or off of your desk, open it to a random page, and read the entire page or one sentence or a paragraph from that page. That's it. No flipping around after that, just whatever the book opens to, and whatever you read is the message that you need to receive right then. I know it sounds weird. To some of you, it may sound a little or a lot woo-woo, but hear me out. Like I said, for the past few days, I've been feeling blah. I've been feeling stuck. I've been wanting to sleep more than normal. And going back to what I started with today, I could attribute this blahness to the fact that we're in mid-January. It's been gray, it's been cold, and I really haven't seen much of the sun the way I do when it's spring and summer and fall. But I also get that this feeling blah is part of the normal ebb and flow of life. Not every moment can be off the charts exciting. I've learned that every now and then the tide of my enthusiasm is going to recede, and I'm going to get stuck in the muck that the tide going out unveils. I'm going to feel a sense of, why bother? Who cares? Does what I do really matter? Those three questions have plagued me for the last few days, and those three questions may sound familiar to you. You may be asking yourself those questions right now. So again, hear me out in today's episode, because this trick really can get you out of a funk. This morning I woke up at 4:30. I was wide awake. I was thinking about my big dreams, all the things that I have to do. Still, I said to myself, damn, this bed feels so good. Maybe I can sleep another couple of hours. Then I realized, who was I kidding? I wasn't going to fall back asleep. I know myself. I was not going to fall back asleep. Plus, I happen to be recording this episode on a Monday, and there's something symbolic about getting up early on a Monday and hitting the ground running. It sets the week off on the right foot. So I pushed the covers off. I hopped into the cold room. I made my bed, and I went downstairs to begin my day, as I usually do, with a hot cup of tea and my morning nutritional cocktail, sans alcohol. Okay, this is not, I'm not starting my day with a mimosa or a Bloody Mary. This is truly a high-powered antioxidant, collagen, and all these essential vitamins and proteins, all mixed in. It's fabulous. Then I went into my office and I did some administrative work that has been hanging over my head for too long. And I think that's part of what has been dragging me down. Little things on my list of things to do that I've been avoiding because, quite frankly, I don't want to do them. They're an annoying part of my business. They're not the sexy or the fun or the creative part of my business, but they need to get done as part of me doing my business. So today I set my mind to achieving one simple task that I could check off my to-do list. Then I pulled a random book from my shelf. The book today I pulled is called Unfuck Yourself, Get Out of Your Head and Into Your Life by Gary John Bishop. The title alone is totally appropriate for what I need to hear right now. But I wanted a deeper message. I wanted a more specific message. So I turned to a random page, and this is what I found waiting for me. So I'm going to read a section of this page to you. And the heading is Being Relentless. Anytime you're working to achieve something, you're going against the current. Often the opinions of the people around you are trying to push and pull you away from your destination. They'll say you can't do it. You're making a mistake. It's impossible. You'll fail. The more unique and out of the box your endeavor is, the stronger the pushback can be. Why? Well, mostly because the other people in your life have gotten used to relating to you as a specific kind of person. So anytime you attempt to break out of that mold, you're not only messing with your own world, you're also messing with theirs. And the resistance doesn't just come from other people. It comes from your own mind. To both your conscious and subconscious thoughts can work against you to stop your dreams right in their tracks. It could be outright negative. That's impossible. Why even try? Or it could be subtler. Wouldn't it be a lot better to just sleep in instead of getting an early jump on things at the office? That game on your phone is so much more fun than working. So, light bulbs going off for me. There was the message I needed to hear today. One that hit me between the eyes and snapped me out of the blahs. This part of the message bears repeating. They'll say you can't do it, you're making a mistake, it's impossible, you'll fail. The more unique and out of the box your endeavor is, the stronger the pushback can be. Why? Well, mostly because the other people in your life have gotten used to relating to you as a specific kind of person. So anytime you attempt to break out of that mold, you're not only messing with your own world, you're also messing with theirs. And that's the dilemma. Do you see it? Not only do other people in our life get used to us being a certain way, we get used to ourselves being a certain way. We become comfortable with the who that we are right now, despite the fact that we have dreams that require us to become a different who if we are to achieve them. That comfort can eventually turn into the blahs. The same old can keep us from pursuing the next best version of what our life is calling us to seek. Which brings me back to the title of today's episode. There's always room for the best. The best requires more from us, more of us to achieve. If we stay the way we always have been, there's no way of achieving the best. And we end up being a part of the average soup. Now, over on my sister site, MaryLouKaiser.com, I've been writing about things like we're not here to be average, and today's episode, there's always room for the best. And also, we're not here to serve everybody. As hard as that is, sometimes we want to serve everybody. We think that what we have is good for everybody. We'll make everybody's life better in some way. And that's just not true. We can find space for ourselves being the best at what we do, and the right people are going to show up. And we, in turn, will be fulfilled because we know we're serving the right people. For the past year and a half, I've been chiseling my way out of an old mold into a newer, better version of myself. That, Mary Lou, is emerging. It's been exciting. It has been terrifying. I've had to fight against myself more times than I can even think of how many times I've had to have that conversation and say, this sucks. You are letting go of something that is very familiar and comfortable. But if you want to get over here, if you want to achieve this thing, you're going to have to leave this behind. And it's honestly, guys, it's been some of the hardest work I've ever done. If you have experienced this, and I'm guessing that if you're listening to this podcast, you have at least once, maybe multiple times, you know that it's both exhilarating and terrifying, and you're going to lose some people along the way. And that's one of the hardest things, because the who that we are right now cannot get us what it is we want. We have to become a different who. Now, I'm not saying we have to, completely go under the knife and have, look like somebody we're not, and act in a way that's completely out of alignment. I'm not suggesting that at all. What I'm saying is that what Gary John Bishop shares in his book and what I read today was exactly the message I needed to hear, because I am fighting to a degree. And when I get into the blahs, that's a sign I'm comfortable. I'm not wanting to do what I need to do to move forward. I just want to lie in bed and pull the covers over my head and stay warm and cozy and listen to my books, right? My audiobooks, and be happy. And there's room for that. Again, there is room for that. But the truth is that to move forward with anything we deem important, we have to break out of the existing model. We have to let go of the old. We have to make way for the newer, better version of ourselves and our lives. We have to embrace the discomfort of stepping into the far unlit unknown, which happens to be the title and theme of my latest book, which you can get right now on Amazon. So if you don't have a copy, go get one. It's fantastic. There's always room for the best. Why would you want to settle for anything less? The work you do to move yourself forward, you'll look back and say, man, A, I'm so glad I did that work, and B, it wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be. And look at where I am today. So team, that is my message for today. There is always room for the best. And just saying that to yourself is one technique to snap you out of any kind of rut you may be feeling. And if you want to do the open the book to a random page exercise, I encourage you to do it. It's so interesting because what you land on is exactly what you need to hear. And remember, team, it is always a great day to get out there and play your position. I can't say that message enough. This is Mary Lou Kayser. Thanks so much for listening. Make it a great day, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Here at the Play Your Position podcast, we believe that the road to self-mastery and a life well lived starts with answering the call to leadership. That's when the fun really begins. Send this episode to any friends who might need to hear the inspiration and ideas you heard today. And feel free to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform.